Oh wait, no, you changed the music.
How's it going, Orange County? We are here to talk about a rather uneventful weekend that saw Orange County grab 1 point on the road on the East Coast in Charleston and preview what's coming up for this weekend. And yes, Brad, I did change the music last weekend or last episode, but it's back to the normal one this time. This is the Orange Black SoccerCast.
This is the Orange and Black SoccerCast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. Follow us on Twitter at OCSC_SoccerCast or on Facebook at Orange and Black SoccerCast.
How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black SoccerCast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. I'm your host, Ray Samora, and I am going to take you through this journey, this simple journey this week. I mean, I feel like the last few weeks we've had so much to cram into episodes, and it's going to be a very difficult task of filling a full hour talking about Orange County Soccer Club. But I got the three other guys that are going to help us do that in this episode. First, let me welcome him in from County Line Coalition. We've got Dylan from County Line Coalition. How you doing on this Tuesday evening, Dylan? I forgot what day it is.
Yeah, it is in fact a Tuesday evening. I'm not bad. I'm pretty well. I'm enjoying the cooler weather here. I'm looking forward to a Friday night that should be pretty entertaining.
Yeah, the weather today was interesting here in Orange County area. I know, especially Brad probably won't have any idea of what the weather was like. Alan might have a little bit of a closer idea, but it actually there was a few drops of water coming from the sky as I walked my youngest son to school this morning, which I was not prepared for. And speaking of the guy down in San Diego who may or may not have had similar weather, we got Alan down in San Diego. Alan, how are you doing today?
What up? Yeah, it rained this morning on my way to work, which was brilliant. I love it. I will live with a little bit of rain. Obviously we can talk about rain, but thoughts and all that stuff with some of our friends in Louisiana, with the stuff that they went through this weekend. Had a friend down, have a couple friends live out there, that nurses that stayed behind. They were the shift to take over after the hurricane. So there's lots to be thankful for when it rains in Southern California. But just remember, rain isn't always a great thing. But sending our thoughts to the people who are going through a lot of those shenanigans right now in Louisiana. But yeah, things are going all right down here in San Diego. It's lovely, and we had to talk about another important road point for Orange County. Yeah,
thoughts go out to the people on that whole Gulf area that got impacted. But let's move on to Orange County Soccer Club talk. And one last person got to bring on up in Reno who has been dealing with smoke like crazy for the last month or two. That's Brad up in Reno. Brad, how are things? Is the air getting any better for you up there?
So I don't know how science works, but with the Dixie fire north of me and the Caldor fire that just forced the evacuation of South Lake Tahoe, somehow we've had blue skies today here in Reno. We had for a little bit the winds pushed west, which made all the smoke go to Sacramento, where they've kind of been suffering, and now it's starting to point back towards us. But you never know. Right now, I'm just enjoying my blue skies. I sat outside in the backyard for the first time since mid-July because it was too smoky.
And what's up to anyone that's listening to us on the live stream? I know we have a few viewers listening to us. We appreciate that. Share your comments on anything we discuss here, and we will try and share them. I mean, we already got a podcast title recommendation or a subtitle. I don't know. I don't know how science works, and obviously most of us don't. Maybe Alan does because he's a teacher, although a music teacher. So I don't know if they really know science. But yeah, and you got some love from our listener out in San Antonio, Brad. Hope all is well in the Reno area. Hope all is well for anyone, anywhere in the world. Hope, anything that's troubling you goes away rather soon. Let's get into this. Let's get into the Orange County Soccer Club talk, though. The big news, or the biggest, one of the big excitements when we saw the schedule released, was Orange County making a trip out to the East Coast, going out to Charleston, two of the original teams from the modern era of USL soccer meeting each other. And a lot of people marked it on the calendar. A lot of USL fans probably marked it on the calendar to see this match. And, both teams going into this are fighting for something. So it's not like you have two teams in this match, or any team in this match that's sort of struggling and sort of already giving up on the season. Orange County travels all the way out to Charleston. We learn on the broadcast that it wasn't a direct flight for the players. They actually flew into Atlanta, had about a 3-hour layover, and then flew to Charleston. So if you do the math there, we did science, now it's math time. That's about an 8.5-hour travel, not including the time you have to get to the airport at probably John Wayne and wait for an hour or two before your flight leaves. And then you get to Charleston. I don't know how big that airport is, but who knows how long it takes to get out of that airport and get to your hotel room. So, and from all things that I know, the travel was on Friday. So right the day before the match, I believe that's when the club typically travels. So I'm going to go straight to this with you guys before we even talk about the match. Is that already setting up Orange County in a very bad side when it comes to having to do that type of travel the day before a match? And did you see that impact the players at all on the pitch? I'm going to go to you first, Dylan.
Absolutely. Best case scenario, it's a 2,500 mile trip. And when you're not on a jet, I would have to lay over a map of the United States over Europe. But that, it's probably like flying from Liverpool to somewhere in Poland or something. Like, it's a long time, and it's a long time to be stuck on a flight with however many other people are on planes these days. I don't know. I haven't flown in a while, but those are brutal when you don't have to play a game a day or two later, let alone, being asked to perform at this level.
Oh, are you done with it, Dylan? You sort of just ended like it almost sounded like you were going to say more, and then you just stopped. So I didn't know.
No, it was a complete sentence and thought, I think. Maybe it wasn't. And chime in the comments.
and I apologize. Maybe they did travel on Thursday. One of our listeners said that their son heard that the team traveled on Thursday. Regardless, making that type of trip, that's probably a good 10 hours of a day traveling to Charleston, South Carolina, is going to be difficult, whether it's a day or two before the match. Let me go to you, Alan. What are your thoughts on that type of travel? And is there anything the players could do to be ready for a match after that type of travel and being in a different time zone and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, it's not fun. Liverpool to Moscow is by driving 2,011 miles. So, we're giving ourselves some context. By the crow flies, it's 1,600 miles from Liverpool to Moscow. So just kind of putting that in perspective. So you can draw yourself a map. This is a question I've asked when San Diego was traveling those 4 matches, 4 away games in a row. And, the coaching staff was like, hey, we have an idea how to build practice. We have an idea how to keep the guys, hydrated and healthy, but still, like, the toll that your body takes from traveling is incredible. And these athletes are, peak physical fitness. They're like Ferraris, and any little tweak here and there, it can really mess them up. Right. So I know I'm miserable, like just flying to Denver and back, let alone cross-continental. Probably, your legs are getting a little stiff. You get a little tired. You have the jet lag. You have the time change. Like, it's difficult to travel in the best circumstances, let alone a quick trip across from west to east. So this has got, you saw this happen with Phoenix traveling to Tampa Bay and not playing that well. traveling back east is not something that a lot of these teams are built for either. It's not like something they do on a regular basis where they have, regiments set up ahead of time. But the club's going to do the best they can to get the players ready. But even with the amount of preparation, it's it's tough on the body. So yeah, it's not fun. But I thought they handled the trip well, and I think we're going to get talking about the game a little bit. But I thought that they represented pretty well.
Let me go to you, Brad, because you're originally, I think, from that neck of the woods of the country, or at least you've lived in that neck of the woods of the country in the past. What is it like to get, I know, North Carolina. I know. That's why I said neck of the woods. I didn't say specifically South Carolina.
Oh, no, I wasn't contradicting you or anything. I was just saying, I lived in North
you're
Carolina.
pointing at your
That's
scarf.
the neck of the woods.
There you go.
Yeah, no, that flight is exhausting, mostly because most times if you're traveling from west to east, you're either leaving really early in the morning and getting there late in the afternoon, or you're doing a red-eye flight. So both suck. There's, going 3 hours east or 3 hours time change is just hard on the body. So the players I thought had a really good showing based on that. I thought they controlled most of the game too.
So let's talk about this game, because luckily for Orange County, Charleston looked like they had traveled, some 2,000-3,000 miles for this match. They didn't look like they were the home team, I guess, for most of it. It was a very evenly matched game. I know Charleston had a few opportunities that probably we lucked out on as Orange County. Orange County, I mean, wasn't the greatest match ever, but we've talked about in this past, anytime you can go on the road and at least get a point on the road, that should feel like a victory. And when you're traveling that extra distance that you're not used to, and you come home with the 1 point, and now Coach Richard Chaplow is 4 points in 2 matches as the head coach of the club. So they're off to a good start with that. What would you make of the performance for both Orange County and Charleston? And do you think the results was an accurate result, Dylan?
Yes, I think it's a fair result. I think both teams were pretty wasteful with what they created. Orange County had, the majority of the ball, and took I think it was something like 15 or 16 shots, but when you're not putting most of those on frame, Brad's trying to tell me I think it's 16 shots. Look at that. If you're not putting most of those on frame, it's kind of waste. And that's not to take anything away. The one that perhaps sticks out most in my mind is Calvillo's attempt from 20 yards out pretty late on. And I don't want to fault him for that, because I think that's the right decision at that point. I think if you try and bring it down and get a touch, you find that the space in front of you has disappeared. But it didn't seem all that different from what we've seen in the past, but there are a lot of positives to take away from that. The one we've talked about already, traveling across the country and picking up a point on the road. Thomasina Volson's return is probably another big one. I guess those are the 2 biggest ones for me.
What about you, Alan?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dylan. I didn't know that time if you're done. Now you see, you're tricking me on this episode, Dylan. You stopped the first time and you're done, and now you do this long, 20-second pause, making me think you're done this time.
Well, you stared at me, so I was like, did I not fully answer the question?
I wasn't staring at you.
This is my new thing.
I never stare at you, Dylan. Alan, your thoughts on the performance from these 2 teams, and is it an accurate result?
Yeah. Anytime you go on the road and get a point against, a team like Charleston, I know they're playing a little bit of a down year this year, but you still got to feel really good about that, particularly after all the drama that Orange County's gone through over the past couple of weeks. Ronaldo had a really nice opportunity as well that I thought, he didn't quite hit the way he wanted to hit. But we've seen that, right? The ball kind of finds him. He flicks it toward goal. Usually it goes in, but this time it just didn't. I think this is just one of those. Orange County played well. I don't think you can point out anyone that said they had a poor game. They all had a pretty good game. Just they really couldn't take advantage of their opportunities. And that's kind of been, we've seen this from Orange County before in the past, where just, things didn't click in the 6-yard box. but everything else seemed to work really well building up to that part. Maybe just not as clinical as they have been in the past, where they, with against San Diego, where they kind of packed the box and really put a lot of pressure and ended up getting some balls to bounce in when they needed them to. It just didn't come off. So it wasn't. I don't think they played tired. It's just they played good, but not good enough to win.
Let me go to you, Brad. Anything that either side could have done better to get the full 3 points in your mind? Besides the obvious answer of score a goal.
Yeah, of course. I felt like both sides in this game were kind of playing, defensively, counterattackingly, looking to take chances. Charleston Battery did score, but was called offsides once. So that was a lucky call for Orange County. I don't think Orange County really could have done anything better. I don't quite know. It's nice to see players like Anna Voldson back though, and with this game, we finally had a full bench that we could take and use. Not only with Anna Voldson coming back, but with the signings of Mines and Powers. Is it Mines?
Yep.
With the signings of both of them, we kind of have a full roster that we can pull from now, and that only gets better when you have Arrow Markkinen and other players start coming back from injury. Hopefully Seth Sipley too. So, Orange County has just continued to get healthy, and showings like that will just come naturally over time.
Yeah, to point
So-
out,
go ahead.
I'm gonna hop in. Dylan pointed out like why you don't always take an extra touch, and it just shows that Charleston Battery opportunity early where they just took a little too many touches, tried to put it on the proper foot, and nothing came of it. And then I do also want to say I think Kaningas can get some practice. He can be a future WWE star by how he was kind of manhandled, but also took the fall really, really well to avoid any injury in that instance.
Well, and he sold it to get the opposing player the red card. I mean, he sold a shot to the head that when you watch the replay probably was not a shot to the head. But that's we've talked to Rob in the past, and I think Miko sort of has that same mentality when you're out on the pitch, right? Is you're trying to get into the head or get on the opponent's nerves and just make them do something to you. I was watching an episode, one of the latest episodes of Ted Lasso, and you see one of the characters told to do that, and
No
exactly
spoilers.
what happens. No, I'm not giving any spoilers. I'm being very generic with it, but someone tells one of the players on, was it Richmond, to get under the skin of the opposing team and does just that. And it looked almost exactly what we saw from Kaningas in this match. Let's talk about the controversial call that took away a potential opportunity for Orange County to get a goal. It's a breakaway for Ronaldo Damas, and as basically one-on-one with the goalkeeper. We saw a few weeks back where he tried to shoot around the goalkeeper and it goes wide. This time he tries to take that extra touch to get around the keeper. The ball gets past the keeper, some contact with Ronaldo, and the keeper's the last line of defense, which typically in soccer, if you foul someone as the last line of defense, it is an automatic red card, regardless if you're a goalkeeper. No foul given. Is the ref giving no foul because they know at that point you have to give a red card if you give the foul? And was Orange County robbed on that, Dylan? You can't deny that there was. You can't say there was no contact. There was contact.
I think. Wow, this is.
Right, but that has to be the thinking. If the only reason you don't give any kind of foul there is because if you give the foul, you're going to have to give a red card. So is the ref trying to, we see this all the time, right? You try to, take care of certain players, and goalkeeper is one of those players you sort of look the other way for from time to time when there's contact. Is that a situation here?
I think it is. I think a lot of refs at this level don't want to get or to give a red card, and get a kind of like a poor grade at the end of the night. That is a bold decision. It's one that makes you either hated or loved, and it's usually hated. we've seen keepers just kicks to the chest that have gotten away with it in the past. We've seen kind of ghost touches. I don't blame the ref for not going for it in the situation. I don't know. I mean, it feels like we're robbed, right? Because if we get a pen, we probably get 3 points out of this match. But
in all honesty, it probably wouldn't have been a penalty. It would have been a free kick outside of the box, but you're taking away the number one goalkeeper for Charleston and bringing in someone that probably wasn't planning on doing anything tonight or that night, right?
And, hopefully that unsettles the team a little bit. But at the same time, Orange County's played enough against 10 men in the last few seasons to know it generally doesn't go all that well. So I wonder,
so we're lucky that the red card wasn't showed there.
Yeah, I wonder how much for me I'm thinking, you know what, actually, I'm just kind of happy that we didn't have to worry about it. Because that's usually how it goes for us.
Alan, Brad, go for it. Brad wants to jump in. Go for it.
If we had VAR, I think it might have been given, but you don't necessarily want to affect the game too much as a referee, especially like Dylan says at Division II level. They just kind of sent out a tweet saying, "Hey, we want to unionize. These are kind of demands that we want." You're not going to see them acting out too much right now.
So let me go to you really quick, Alan.
Yep.
Again, we talked about the goalkeeper sometimes gets the benefit of the doubt on these calls, especially being the last line of defense. If you call a foul, it's going to be a red card. But hasn't Ronaldo done enough now where he's proven that he's one of the top talents in this league now, and he's one of the best scorers in this league? And should he be getting the benefit of the doubt on some of these calls now?
I don't necessarily think that anybody is like big leaguing somebody or not big leaguing somebody. I don't necessarily think I think some players get the lack of benefit of the doubt more than they get a benefit of the doubt. Like NBA, I think that's the go-to is like your stars might get some fouls that other people don't. I think maybe there's some folks with reputations that maybe get called fouls that shouldn't be, aka the Grant Stoneman first yellow against Orange County. Grant Stoneman has said that maybe they think he plays with an edge and he might get some cards. I think Kaningas is in that same vein where I think they kind of expect him to play with a little bit of an edge, so maybe there's a little bit of a shorter fuse. I think there's two things about this. One is there's a penalty against San Diego that I think was just as kind of questionable as this, and they got the penalty. Sacramento did. I think with this one in Orange County, I think the question is does the goalie pull out of the challenge and try to avoid the contact? And thus maybe that's what the ref sees is that, the goalie's moving up to make a play on the ball. But at the last moment, he realizes Damas is going to get by him and he pulls out of the challenge. And so the ref is like, he doesn't actually go in like he's challenging. He ends up getting pulled from the game anyway, right? The Charleston goalkeeper is injured, or does he stay in the game? I know he took a little bit of a knock.
Stayed.
And maybe that was like an embarrassment knock. Like, oh, I done messed up and I'm going to like pretend like I'm injured. So maybe there's a little bit of a pity party there. I think this is a tough one because it's clearly a break. The referee's not in a great position to necessarily make the best call. And I think he sees the goalkeeper try to pull out of it a little bit and maybe gives him the benefit of the doubt. But you're right. It's not a pen. It's maybe a yellow card. Yeah, I think that's a tough one because the goalie is like stepping out of the way. He doesn't leave a leg in. He doesn't go heavy into the challenge.
You can't say maybe hard in this situation, Alan, because if the foul's called, it's the last line of defense on a goal scoring opportunity. It's going to be an automatic red.
But isn't a goal scoring opportunity?
What's
the definition of a goal scoring opportunity? And also,
I believe, at least based on what I don't have the rules in front of me, but it's
and also isn't it only a red if he's not trying to play the ball?
No, if it's a foul on a goal scoring opportunity, it's a red.
If he's trying to play the ball, it's yellow. It's only a red.
I don't know. We'll have to look at. I think Brad's trying to look up and see if he can find some information on this.
If he's trying to make a play.
Oh no, he's not. He doesn't care about that.
I think if he's trying to make a play on the ball, because there is no like last defender. I think it's if he's trying to make a play on the ball.
In that instance, the goalkeeper is the last defender.
Right.
And by all means, anyone listening to this that watches soccer, comment on this. What you know about this rule? I'll bet money, Alan. I'll bet money with you right now that in that instance, if the goalkeeper fouls the player in that type of situation, that's considered last line of defense. The foul is going to result in the red card. I don't think you can make any argument for a different card.
I can. If he's going for the ball and makes a play on the ball and he fouls him, I think it's different than if he goes
Dylan,
at
who's
the
right?
player without making the play on the ball. That's what I'm going to say. Number two, I do think the goalie stays on his feet and tries to avoid the challenge. And I think that's what the ref sees when he says, hey, I'm not going to give this as a foul. Orange County can be totally pissed off that they feel like they should have gotten a call. But again, it's not really a pen, so it might not change anything. But yeah, Orange County should feel hard done. Charleston should be happy with that call. I think, we're allowed to have those emotions. I would like to give the benefit of the doubt to the referee that that's probably the right call, but Orange County can still be mad at him.
So let me just say this, and I'll let Dylan make the final call on here. A good little debate. I went and Googled. I don't know how reliable this site I'm looking at right here, but I'm reading from sportspundit.com. In football, which is referencing soccer, the term last man refers to a situation wherein the attacking player owns the ball and is faced with one opposing defender standing between him and the goal. If the defender commits a foul against the attacking player, a red card is given as a penalty. I mean, again, I don't know how legit Sports Pundit, but is the number one result that comes up on my Google search right now.
When
Dylan,
was that written? The rule, I think the rule has just been changed recently.
Oh, you and your when was that written in rules? I don't know. Go check up. I gave you
your rules, Alan. How dare you?
I gave you the where it came from. You can go look it up yourself if you need to. Dylan, who's
Ray,
the winner of this argument?
I don't know the most recent iteration, so my apologies for that. But I believe previously you could get a yellow for denial of a goal scoring opportunity if you were attempting to play the ball. So unless it was like egregious, like handball, you just can
I jump in really quick, Dylan?
A dude in the face.
Can I jump in really quick, Dylan?
Yeah,
really
sure,
quick?
Why not?
Because I'm gonna get you something now from proreferee.com, which I believe the proreferees.com, where a player denies the opposing team a goal or an obvious goal scoring opportunity by says handball offense. So sorry, I was reading something completely wrong. I apologize.
That's
Keep going, Dylan.
Reading is really hard.
It is hard.
Yeah, it's more out, gents. I mean, really. No. I really don't remember what it is, but it's like a weird part of it varies on like if you're in the box or not. And then the other thing is Dylan. If you're actually trying to play the ball, they are more lenient with you. And the whole thing is that the other team is not being rewarded like 2 or 3 times over by your keeper getting sent off, a penalty being awarded. I guess it would only be 2 times over.
I think BA County, who's listening live on YouTube, is saying red outside the box, yellow in the box. Let me read another thing from proreferees.com. Denying a goal or an obvious goal scoring opportunity to an opponent whose overall movement is towards the offender's goal by an offense punishable by a free kick is the denial of a goal scoring opportunity and thus a red card. So in this instance, it's the last defender denying a goal scoring opportunity, and if a foul's called, it's a red card. Short and simple on that. I don't want to take the rest.
Hear me out. Just to
this.
show how complicated this rule is. If I am 3 yards off the end line, running towards goal, and the keeper comes out and tries to force me out, and then kind of realizes like last second, I'm actually going to take this guy out, and kind of pulls out of the challenge. And there's still a little bit of and I fall. Is that a goal scoring opportunity? Because who's going to shoot and put it on frame from 3 yards off the end line? So it's like it's a really complicated situation.
It's an obvious scoring opportunity. If you are on the end line and you do not have a realistic chance of scoring, I bet you most times it's not going to get called unless you have one referee really is having a bad day. Like he woke up on the wrong side of his bed. He tried making coffee and the grinds got into the actual product. One of those types of days.
Yeah, I don't want to be too harsh on Orange County here, but in the ref's defense, we put like 10 shots right at the keeper or just wide of the post. So this is, it's probably the right decision here. Just to kind of let it go.
Kind of let it go, man, Dylan. We can't let it go.
You're gonna get the rat involved or the mouse involved, and we can't do that.
Let me just say one more thing again. This is from the Pro Referees website, right? Location and number of defenders is taken into consideration with the denial of a goal scoring opportunity. If there is no more than one defender and the goalkeeper is considered a defender present when the offense occurs, normally this indicates a goal scoring opportunity was denied. If there is more than one defender, then there's other things you consider. So again, the fact that there's no foul called here is the only reason I can say there's no foul call here is because at that point, the referee, which is part of pro referees, would have to give the red card. And I don't think he wanted to give the red card in that situation on there. And look at that. BA County, Damas was obviously going to score. So, I mean, it was simple and sweet, Alan. You're wrong. It was a denial of a goal scoring opportunity and thus should have been a red card because it was out of the box. The rules do state if it's in the box, it's a yellow and a penalty kick. So
there is also a defender right by the foul when it happens. So maybe there's also an issue of, yes, he was the last defender, but you can make an argument that as he plays the ball wide, the defender could get to that ball. But I think the inside the box, outside the box is correct. So I might have been misremembering the inside versus the outside of playing the ball.
Bark, bark, bark. For those of you listening, Ray has left the building. He's returning.
I have not left. I had to fix the green screen that we have here. If there's another defender in there, they have to be able to realistically be part of that play. So if they're on the side or trailing, that's not part of that last line of defense. Let's give our final thoughts on this match because we spent way too much time arguing about that. But again, this would have been a great opportunity for Orange County to pick up the full 3 points. Any last thoughts on this match before we move on?
Points count the same no matter how you get them.
Perfect. And 3 points would have been a lot nicer than 1 point. But hey, 1 point is better than 0 points. That's great there. With that match, our prediction contest, there was only one person in this contest that got any points this week. And that's because they predicted the correct outcome. They predicted a draw. And that was Alan. Alan picked up 4 points. The rest of us all thought there was going to be some goals scored in this match with Orange County coming out victorious. And obviously none of that happened. So with the results, I'm still way in last place now. I'm 11 points behind Alan, who's in third place. Alan is 8 points behind Brad, who's in second place, and Brad's 10 points behind Dylan, who's in first place. So, man, I have almost half the points Dylan has at this point of the season. And we're like 2/3 of the way through this. So I have to do a lot of great predictions here to wrap up the season if I'm going to have any possibility of catching Dylan there. We have a big thing coming up, or Orange County has a big thing coming up this Friday, the next home match. It's a match at home against El Paso Locomotive. Oh, and it is also a beer fest. I don't know if that's enticing you, Brad, to make the trip down to Orange County to go get some beer tasting, or if, Alan, you're going to come up north. I think Dylan will be there. I'm pretty certain he'll be there. I don't know if you're partaking in beer fest, Dylan, are you?
No, I'm actually going to be down towards Alan's neck of the woods earlier in the day.
So you're not even going to the match?
No. I'm just not going to make it back in time for Beer Fest.
Okay.
But I will be at the match, so I'm sorry.
So let's talk about this match really quick. Let's talk about Orange County's upcoming schedule because this match is going to be the first of 4 out of 5 home matches, which is a great place to be before we hit that really tough last stretch of the season here, right? So they're going to be hosting El Paso, then they're going to host Las Vegas, go on the road to Phoenix, and then host Oakland and Phoenix to wrap up that 5-game stretch. El Paso is currently sitting top of the Mountain Division, so it's a tough opponent. They have just as many points at this point as Phoenix has with 1 game in hand. So think about, Phoenix is, we all know Phoenix really well here as Orange County fans. El Paso is a little bit more difficult because you don't face those teams as much, but we're trying to put it in perspective there, right? El Paso is probably just as has just as much quality as a Phoenix does at this point of the season. Are we worried about this match, Dylan, or will Richard Chaplow continue his unbeaten streak in the 3rd match of his head coaching career with Orange County?
We do have to be worried. Like you just said, El Paso is a really good side, and I think I feel like some people are really hot on them, and others just kind of forget they exist, which is disappointing. But this is a team that held Orange County to a 0-0 draw at the very first match of the 2020 season before the end of the world. This is an El Paso team that has, I think, one of the best, if not the best, goalkeeper in the league. starting just about every match, except for when he gets loaned to MLS sides. This is an El Paso side that has like a 19-year-old just tearing it up, and Diego Luna. There's Dylan Maras just behind him. Somehow Yuma is still playing. I thought in 2019 it was kind of the twilight for him, but he's turned it around. And in that midfield, I want to say 3, even though they've done like a 4-4-2 diamond's been really good. But this is a team that can score goals and really trouble defenses. So they're going to be up for it in this one. This is probably not a match you're going to see like Kobe Henry in. This is a match that, 95th minute, and there's a corner for El Paso. Everyone's coming back, and it's got to be a complete performance if we're going to get something from it.
So El Paso's coming in off of a loss to San Antonio on the road. Now they have to travel to Orange County. So they're the road team coming off a road loss. Orange County is coming off the road, but they got at least a result on the road in Charleston. Is any of that a positive for Orange County heading to this? And does that give them a little bit of hope or advantage against a tough El Paso team, Alan?
I think the biggest issue here with Orange County is their home form is one of the worst in the Pacific. Contrary to the USL broadcasts from the last Orange County home match against Tacoma, where they said Orange County is really good at home, that just hasn't been the case this season. And so I think this is going to be a really important test for Orange County to not only try to defend their home against a quality opponent in El Paso, but Locomotive is fine on the road, but Orange County, like you said, the really important 4 home matches. I would rather have 4 road matches the way that Orange County's been playing on the road lately. 4 points in 2 games. Like that's essentially a home record as opposed to a road record. Orange County.
So maybe what we're saying, Alan, maybe we can do some sort of thing like that. Remember that old TV show Wife Swap? We can maybe do stadium swap with San Diego. Yeah. San Diego can come play up here at Championship Stadium, and we'll go down to Torero Stadium, and maybe we'll see how the results go. Maybe that'll help San Diego too, because San Diego's been struggling a little bit as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think mixing it up is always nice. But yeah, I think Orange County needs to kind of reestablish, Orange County as being a tough place to play, and a place that you kind of have some dominance. Because you look at a team like Locomotive who haven't lost at home, that's what you want to be at home. That's the ideal. But Orange County, this is their chance to turn around. It's kind of the last third of the season, and you want to go, if you're going to be a home playoff team, which is like your goal, I think, for Orange County, you have to win at home. Like you have to start winning at home. Otherwise, maybe third place isn't that bad for Orange County. They can go on the road and do some damage on the road. So I think this is like multi-layered importance, right? You got Chapelow's kind of first home match, which is going to be huge. You got the team trying to rediscover the home form, which is going to be huge. You got essentially what could be a playoff matchup, right? Orange County could end up 4th. El Paso is probably going to end up 1st. That's a legitimate playoff, if not the first round matchup. Definitely the second round. Like you're probably going to see El Paso in the playoffs if you want to make it far enough. This is like a 3-layered, 4-layer cake, and I'm going to eat it all up because it's going to be delicious. I think it's going to be Orange County is going to come out. Hopefully, going to come out hot and want to play well for Chaplow. And I think with against a really tough opponent, and hopefully it won't be a 0-0 snooze fest like it was the last time Orange County hosted El Paso.
Was that
so? Let me go to you really.
It was kind of whatever. It was sloppy. It wasn't a snooze fest. It was just a little bit sloppy.
Okay, that's
there we go. That's maybe a better phrase or a better word to use there. Let me go to you, Brad. So we saw the return of Anna Voltson in Charleston, so more than likely we will see him partake in this match. You also have Seth Kasipley, who I believe is scheduled to return for this match as well for Orange County. Probably won't start, but you may get to see an appearance for him, which will be a nice return for the club. And there's other players that are starting to get back into form and back into shape, and we're going to start seeing return to the club. Great opportunity for them at this point. Are any of those players that are returning, like an Anna Voltson or Kasipley, going to play a big part for Orange County in this match, or do you think one of the other players that have been more consistent with the team are going to be the stars on this match?
I personally don't see either of those players making a huge, unless they come off the bench. I imagine both Anna Voltson and Kasipley, if they do play, are both coming from the bench in this game. Just because, when it comes to rehab, you you don't just jump in. You kind of have to take your time. Darwin Jones still hasn't really played bulk minutes yet. And that's someone that's also been coming back healthy recently. If you want more production from this game, you need to have players like Damas find the back of the net again. I think it's been. I mean, obviously he didn't score last week, but I don't remember if he did score against San Diego, the game prior. Yeah, he did. But as long as he continues to find the back of the net, he's the player that's had the most success for Orange County this season. And if you don't have him showing up in this game, I don't really see anybody who's going to stand up to this tough El Paso matchup this upcoming Friday.
All right. So before we get to our match predictions, I have one question. I'm going to simple answer for each of you. Who's starting in this match? Is it Enevolson or is it Akoli? Dylan.
Akoli.
Alan.
I mean, can I say both?
Sure. Go ahead and say both. That's fine.
I'm going to say both.
Does Dylan want to change his answer now that he knows that's an option?
No, it's not worth any points. That's not the side of the field that's going to matter in this match, in my opinion.
Okay. Brad.
I'm gonna just stick with Akoli here. I put my foot in my mouth if I changed my answer based on what I said.
And one of our listeners, BA County, is saying Ugo with what is that? 4 exclamation marks.
Good count.
Am I counting right?
Can do math on this podcast.
I can. Yes. So
science.
let's get to our predictions. We're going to go reverse order from what our sheet says. So I know Brad is always complaining that Dylan's scoring his or stealing his answers, I believe, or someone answers. Alan steals answers. I don't know who steals answers or predictions, but I'm going to go first on this. I'm going to say 2-1 Orange County. Let's go to Dylan.
1-1.
1-1, a draw for Orange County and El Paso. Brad.
I'm going to go the unpopular route, 1-2, El Paso.
Ooh, and Alan, what's your prediction?
I think.
Does Brew want to predict? I think it sounds like
Brew's
he wants
trying to predict.
Count the barks.
I'm gonna say 0-1.
I think Brew thinks there's going to be 3 goals. I heard 3 barks there. You say 0-1.
Yeah.
So we've got Alan and Brad both agreeing that El Paso is going to win this match. Dylan thinks it's going to be a draw, and I'm the only one that's thinking positive thoughts here for Orange County in this match with a 2-1 victory. You look at the standings. This is an important match for Orange County. They are currently sitting second in the table, which is nice, but they what is it? Tacoma has 3 games in hand on Orange County at this point. They're only 3 points behind. So Tacoma's got all the power when it comes to the matchups between Orange County, San Diego, and Sacramento. I mean, they control the destiny there with that. And again, San Diego's even with Orange County with 30 points. Sacramento's at 22, so they're struggling to keep up. But yeah, I think you want, although Orange County has been difficult at home or has struggled at home, you still want that home match, at least in the first round of the playoffs. You don't want to go on the road against an El Paso or even a Colorado Springs in that first round. So you're definitely aiming for the second. This will be a big result if they can get it. Whew. Anything else we have USL or just soccer related that we want to discuss before we wrap things up? And we actually filled a good hour thanks to a 20-minute talk on last line of defense, or what is it? Denial of a goal scoring opportunity, or whatever the legal term is for that.
I believe.
Dylan, I'll go to you first. Any other soccer stuff you want to discuss?
No, there's probably something, but at this point, I've forgotten.
All right, Alan, how about you? Any other soccer stuff you want to discuss?
Fun matchups in the rest of the USL. I think Oakland's traveling to Tampa Bay, so that should be a pretty fun one. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Pacific does this weekend. I know Phoenix has been a little bit hot and cold lately, and they get Tacoma in Tacoma. So Tacoma's undefeated at home, so that might be another fun matchup. So there's a lot of I know Orange County plays on Friday, so there's a lot of fun soccer to watch Saturday and Sunday. So those are what I'm looking forward to, is seeing playoff Pacific teams beating each other up and hopefully dropping points.
So let me ask you really quick, Alan, because you know you're both an Orange County and a San Diego follower. Who are you rooting for, Phoenix or Tacoma? And I ask that because typically for Orange County and San Diego, Phoenix is the enemy. But I think most Orange County and San Diego fans are going to be rooting for Phoenix in this match because I think no one has realistic thoughts of catching Phoenix in the table, and you want to keep Tacoma away, right?
Yeah, I think like in your heart you want to dislike Phoenix, but like if you're looking at what's best for your team moving forward, I think you're not catching Phoenix at this point. So you want to make getting into the playoffs easier. And so that's what I said with like Orange County and Phoenix. Like Orange County was looking pretty good. It's like if Orange County just beats everybody, I'm kind of happy with that because that means it's a better chance of us making the playoffs down here in San Diego. But especially with Phoenix, like Phoenix can make Tacoma drop some points at home and maybe lose that invincibility. I'm all for that. But really, I want it to be like a 1-1 draw or something like that, where they both drop points because that would be pretty sick too.
Brad, any soccer stuff from you before we move on to our random thoughts?
Yeah. Right now, most of Europe is starting to go into their international breaks. You know, with World Cup qualification. The one country that or the one league that kind of is having a hard time deciding what to do based on current travel restrictions is England teams. I was gonna say the Premier League, but there's also players from other teams. I think Jamaica has a Luton Town player that Dylan probably knows real well.
Amari Bell, left back.
Oh, he
Wears
chats with him all the
number 4 for
time.
Jamaica.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
they're
besties.
friends. Yep.
They DM on Snapchat all the time.
But at what point, do clubs get to say? And for the most part, a lot of clubs are saying, "Hey, you're not going to go to this game because if to your international team and play for your country, because if you do, we're going to lose you for 2 weeks, and we can't lose you for 2 weeks." So you have players like Richarlison that are in that want to play for Brazil, World Cup qualification down in CONMEBOL. But they're being told essentially like, "Hey, you can't go play for your country because if you do, we're not going to have you for 2 weeks." At what point?
It's called having depth on your roster, Brad.
Yeah.
If you have depth, then you don't care. I mean, Tottenham.
What's that?
The manager for Tottenham already said Giovanni Lo Celso and was it Romero, Christian Romero they're gonna play for Argentina. They're gonna defy the rules. So it's called having depth. I know Everton struggles with that type of advantage in the
I'm not
Premier
complaining
League.
about Everton. I'm just trying to spark a discussion of at what point does having your club decide what games you can play and cannot play is like
Ultimately the club's paying the bills for the player. They I mean, they don't want their investment to negatively impact. But I get what you're trying to say, Brad. It's a very delicate situation, balancing act there. Like, when should the club say you can't do it, and when should they let you have that pride of representing your country, right?
a happy player produces more goals, right?
Even goalkeepers, because I don't think that's what you want.
Hey, we've seen goalkeepers score goals with some amazing kicks at some point. So
Tim Howard for Everton.
Let's get to our random stuff here, our random thoughts for the night. Really quick before we do that, Dylan, we have a question that came through on the chats, and we're going to ask it specifically to you. This is from BA County. Yeah. What is your favorite fruit, and how do you like to prepare it, Dylan?
Avocado on toast.
Oh, you millennial.
With an egg on top, and then a little bit of a like garlic pepper mix on all.
Now, is it a vegan egg or is it a real egg?
No, it's real egg, and also with Dijon mustard.
Ugh.
With
okay.
The, like Truth Organics Dijon mustard.
Now I like have a stomach ache after Dylan's
avocado, egg on top.
Let's go to you, Alan. What's your favorite fruit, and how do you prepare
it? Ooh, that's a tough one. I think avocado is always a good go-to. Sarah makes this delicious citrus and avocado salad that it's like blood orange, it's grapefruit, it's like chunks of avocado with some macerated onions, and then you slow bake a salmon with blood orange and grapefruit underneath with some grapefruit and what is that called? The stuff on the outside, and then you grate it, spread it on top, and then you slow cook it. Brian, there you
Stuff
go.
on the outside.
And then you break salmon on top and put it over the salad with some nice little vinaigrette.
So some grapefruit zest.
Yes, but also like chunks of grapefruit and blood orange and chunks of avocado.
No, I was just trying to figure out the stuff on the outside is the zest.
Yeah, zest. There you go. Zesting. Mix it up with some, spread it on top of the salmon. Yeah. It's
what about you, Brad? Oh wait, Alan has one last thought.
It's salt, fat, and heat. I think it's what the book's called. Salt, heat, and fat. It's one of those. It's a book with those 3 titles. It was a Netflix show too. The recipe's in there. You can thank me later.
Brad, what about you?
I guess I have to go the simple route. I love pineapple, and typically just eat it pineapple. Cut it into little cubes, and eat it like that. But grilling pineapple is also kind of fun too. But
there's an easy way to do the pineapple is you just get the can opener, twist open the can, and just eat the chunks.
Ew. Close second place is blood orange and a mimosa.
I'm gonna go with a watermelon, and I'm gonna say because there's this cool recipe that I haven't made in a long time, so now I'm thinking about it. I'm gonna have to do it. It's chop up some watermelon, some red onion, some mozzarella cheese, but I use cheese sticks instead, like string cheese, and I chop that up into little like circles. You put some cilantro in there. You do some cucumbers in there, and then you do some salt and squeeze some lime on it. It's really good. And I know, Brad, you don't like cilantro. It tastes like soap or something like that. So you can take the cilantro out and it still tastes really good when you get that salt, the lime, and then the mix of some onions and some cucumbers and the mozzarella cheese with the watermelon. Try it out sometime. Dylan looks like he's grossed out by that. I think he was grossed out by the onion and watermelon mix.
Well, and then you really just doubled down and you said cheese sticks.
Well, mozzarella, like the string cheese?
From like a certain Canadian company that sponsors Toronto FC.
I'm just talking about just like string cheese and then just instead chop it up into little circles. It works out better than the shredded cheese because you actually get nice chunks of cheese instead of like just little slivers of shredded cheese mixed in there. And let's go. We'll let BA since BA County asked the question, we'll go with we'll share his or her response. Bacon wrapped pickled watermelon rind.
I think the first word makes that not a fruit.
But it's the rind of
but
watermelon.
It's the preparation method he used.
They use? We don't know.
You know what we're gonna do, gentlemen? Is
you use bread in your example?
Is in honor of this gentleman, we're gonna actually make that. Each of us will make that the best way we can, and we will taste it on air on a future episode.
I hate pickles.
And we will grade that recipe to say how good or how not good that was. So you're all gonna have to try and cook at some point here in the coming weeks.
Can we modify this at all?
Nope.
Like,
you're gonna have to eat bacon.
Can I do like a nice like pork belly, like a nice pork belly with some like a watermelon steak on top with some pickled watermelon rind?
Well, no, it's
blue cheese.
You can't have. It's got to be bacon and pickled watermelon rind. That's all. You could do. I'll let you do pork belly because that basically is essentially a fancy term for bacon. But you can do that.
And we can't.
And I know Dylan, since you're like vegetarian or vegan, you could do some of that fake, toe bacon or whatever you want to call it, bacon, toe bacon, or soy bacon or whatever you want to call it. And Brad, I don't know what you guys do up in the Reno. If that sounds, I don't know if you guys have watermelons up there, but
country up here.
But if you can't find watermelons, you can look for you can get some of those like watermelon candies or something like that. I don't know.
I would like to dispute Brad's term that Reno is not a foreign country.
All those in favor of Reno being a foreign country say aye.
Aye.
We're succeeding anyways, apparently.
Succeeding?
You're going to be part of Jefferson?
I'm tired.
Are you going to be part of Jefferson? The state of Jefferson?
Half of Washoe County up here would love to be part of Jefferson.
The state of Jefferson, which is like what, Northern California, South Oregon, and parts of Nevada and Idaho, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, not really Nevada, but maybe Idaho.
I love potatoes.
Okay. And look, we got another eye. We got a fourth eye from BA County. So Reno's got to officially become its own country at this point. Really quick before we end things up, we're still under an hour because we got off to a little bit of a late start. I'm going to give each of you a chance to give one last thought. Dylan?
Just what is it? Is this random thoughts?
Literature.
Just one last thought. Yeah, random thought. Yeah, we didn't do random thoughts. Yeah, go random thoughts.
Sorry, throwing me off. What a strange transfer window in the Europe.
In the Europe.
In the Europe, yeah.
Everyone makes fun of the way I pronunciate things, but Dylan says the Europe.
Pronunciate, yeah, because it's pronunciate. I mean, what we've got Messi switching clubs. We've got
Someone staying home.
Yeah, sure. The face of an entire country making a fool of himself and staying home.
What do you mean making a fool of himself? What do you mean making a fool of himself?
50 mil a year. I'm not going to come back and play. But actually, I'm going to come back. Sorry.
Well, dude, if Man City doesn't want to offer enough money that what he's worth, then we're not going to sell him. If Jack Grealish is worth 100 million, Kane is not worth 100 million. He's worth more than 100 million. So Man City didn't want to pay that, so he's staying. So he's one of our own. He's staying at Tottenham, and Tottenham actually got better. And by the way, check it up really quick. Look it up really quick, Dylan. Who's top of the table in the Premier League right now? Look it up, Dylan. Look it up.
Real defensive here after 3 games.
No, I look it up, Dylan. Wait, can you confirm who's top of the table, Dylan, in the Premier League?
Tottenham, but is that because Kane's played every minute?
No.
Oh,
he didn't play the first match. They beat Man City.
About him at all. No, but it's been a weird little bit. I mean, Mbappe turning down like 50 mil a year because he's desperate to get to Madrid. Yeah, can we not talk EPL? That's a fair bet. That's why I was just keeping.
You're the one that brought it up, Dylan.
I was keeping it to the continent. I said.
Oh wait, you brought up the Europe.
One more name. Ronaldo's back at Man U.
Yeah, we don't like talking about.
Wait, no, we can't talk about EPL, Brad. We can't talk about EPL.
Yeah, just it's a crazy.
Liverpool side
back to Atletico, I think.
Yeah, Atleti at the very last minute. It's been a crazy it's been a crazy transfer window at the top, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen at the end of this year.
It's interesting because those that had money or those that were in a financially good situation were able to poach some of these players from these other teams, especially a lot of teams in Italy lost some players because of their financial woes. And then, of course, everyone at this point knows about Barcelona and their crazy financial woes and just trying to sell off as many players as they can to stay afloat. Alan, your random thought. And it can't be EPL related, apparently.
I fell asleep. I was going to say...
come on, Liverpool fan. You didn't fall asleep.
I was going to say, ask your local Chelsea fan to find a red card in the box. But no, I know it's Beer Fest this weekend on a Friday night. Just be safe. I went out to a watch party, and there were some pretty smashed people who were being total a-holes. So... just make sure you're being safe. If you're drinking, make sure you have a ride home because we want to make sure you're safe to come out for the next home match because they're going to be 4 really big ones, as Ray said. So we want to see you out at more than just Beer Fest. So be safe, imbibe carefully, enjoy your weekend.
Brad, random thought?
Well, today was the last day of the United States having active duty personnel in Afghanistan. I'm not going to say anything political about it. I just wanted to say it and say, wow, it's been a while. Almost my whole lifetime.
Like 20 years or something, right?
Yeah, 20 years. That's literally all I had to say about it.
Perfect. I'm going to just totally switch topics here, and I'm going to say, and I'm only going to say this because I know not too many people actually listen to us at this point of the podcast. They've stopped listening by now, so I feel safe to say this. I took my wife and I took our boys to Knott's Berry Farm on Sunday, and we've learned Sunday mornings at Knott's Berry Farm are actually pretty nice. We were there for only about 2 hours, and we got on like 8 rides, and there was like no crowds around us. So it was nice. Once it starts getting busy at any place we go out, we leave, but it was actually pretty nice. And we got to go on, we took the boys on log ride, Calico Mine ride, Calico River Rapids, Pony Express, a few of those carny rides that they have, Jaguar, whatever, however you pronounce that in whatever way you'd say that. But first time in a long time we've gone to Knott's. We went one other time recently because we bought some annual passes, but I used to work there a long time ago and I really haven't been there since. So it was pretty cool. It was fun. And Dylan was pointing up like he wanted to say something about us going to Knott's.
Yeah, I mean, why would anyone want to be there if you're there?
Hey, great. Hey, say it, Dylan, loud and clear. If I'm there, you don't want to be there. But we also paid for that like $35 like drink pass where every 15 minutes you can get a drink. My only concern or quip with it is they give you like one of those small little disposable cups. Every 15 minutes you get a drink. So there's a lot of trash going into the ground. I don't like that. I'd rather them give you some sort of reusable plastic cup for that. But apparently that costs more. So to be, I don't know.
Is this like vodka? Like, am I getting like?
No. It's sodas. It's sodas.
A vodka every.
It's sodas. I wish it was alcohol, but it's just sodas for $35 for the entire span of our annual pass.
Yeah,
but again, every 15
Sunday
minutes,
morning,
I'm throwing away a little small cup of Coke. I'm throwing that cup away, and I feel really bad when I do that. But yeah.
But yeah, what's their hard liquor policy? Because the next, maybe I'm a little bored on Sunday and I didn't drink enough on Friday night, and I
just come jump over there with us. You want to come hang out with us?
Absolutely smashed at Knott's Berry Farm.
They do have beer. I don't know if they have hard liquor. I do know they have beer, so you can get beer while you're there. I don't know if they have the hard liquor, but they have a TJ Fridays right across the street.
Boom. I'm taking flask recommendations, everyone. Please, you can email me at dylan@ocsepodcast.com.
That's where the chaperones eat lunch when we used to go to Knott's Berry Farm for the 8th grade trip. We
TJ
drop
Fridays.
the kids off and head to the TJ Fridays. No alcohol, but we know that it's there.
Yeah, right, Alan. No alcohol. Well, let's wrap things up because we actually got over an hour with this episode now with all that stuff we were talking about. For Dylan, for Alan, and Brad, I am Ray. This is the Orange and Black SoccerCast, and we are out.